Hey guys, I don't know if you can see me because I am trying to put things on here and then to focus on my workspace. But hi, how are you? Happy Christmas, Merry Holidays, joyous Hanukkah, and everything else that's out there right now. I hope you've had a restful and recuperative holiday, and I'm hoping that this weekend will be restful for you as well. I'm looking forward to a productive and interesting new year, and we'll talk more about that later. But for today, I wanted to bring you some product reviews. I was with my mom the weekend before Christmas, and I'll actually be picking her up tomorrow so she can be here for a month. But that weekend before Christmas, I was helping her finish up her Christmas shopping, and they only have one hobby store in their town, and it's one that I don't usually go to, but they had some interesting products, and so I picked them up. Spent less than $20 on these 3 items, and I'm going to give you an opening of the packages and a review here today on live. So if you like them, you can go to that lobby of hobbies and you can pick these things up for yourself. And if you know, you believe me, you can pick them up for yourself. If you don't, then you can still pick them up for yourself. This is just an unbiased, unpaid for review of 3 products that I thought might be helpful for my followers out there. So without further ado, I'm going to step away from the camera and refocus it on my hands, and we'll get started with the review. So I'm right here, and I'm just tightening up my extra arm here so that we can see what I'm going to be opening. And I'm trying to get my computer to show me that we are indeed live so that I can, there we are. Oh, hey, I did that really good. Okay, so I'm going to have this on. Okay, so I can see what's going on so that I don't have to worry about looking at things. And this was so freaking cute. I loved this so much, and I realized that she's hand stitching there, but you know what? It can be for needle felting as well, because oh my gosh, is this not the perfect patch? And I've got to figure out a way to attach this to something and, you know, make it, you know, as kind-hearted badass as possible. So this was something cool, and I picked this up at Joann's, I think. But they have all these funky old vintage simplicity things, and McCall's things, and Butterick things, and I've picked up a couple, but this by far is my favorite. So it's off to the side. These are the 3 items that I purchased, and I want to show you. These are finger guards that you can utilize to protect your fingers if you're a little nervous about stabbing yourself. Because remember, the first rule of needle felting with Anna's rules is always know where your non-stabbing hand is. Well, these are fingertip guards for your non-stabbing hand, okay? So we're gonna open those up in a sec. These looked really cool. Now, you've seen me do a little live using a cookie cutter, and I think it was a time-lapse one. I'll be working with cookie cutters again, but when I saw this bag full of 3 templates, and they're made out of an industrial felt, so it's really thick, but they've got these cool shapes in them. So we're gonna try those out here and see if I like how they work. The nice thing about these, as opposed to the cookie cutters, is that they've got a very low profile. So they would be much easier for you to utilize with the needles and not have to worry about trying to figure out, am I stabbing the metal or the plastic of this cookie cutter, or am I actually stabbing the fiber that I need to stab? Excuse me. The third thing I picked up was this interesting little felting tray, and they call it a felting workstation. The thing that I like most about it is that I've got 2 spots right here that I can use for both my pin cushion that holds pins and needles, but I can use the other one for my pin cushion that holds my felting needles. So let's get started. Let's open this up, since this will be the base for everything that we're gonna do, and we'll get rid of that shine from the light too. So I promised you unboxing. Now it feels like the foam pad that they have in this base is a type of closed cell foam, which is the style of foam that I do prefer. And I prefer it because, generally speaking, it doesn't fall apart quite as bad as others. Oh, and it comes out too. Okay, that's really nice. So the station itself, even if it didn't have the pad, would be totally worth it, because as you need a new pad, you can get a new pad in here. And as I suspected, both of my pin cushions fit beautifully in those spots. And if I wanted, I could, bear with me now, I could grab my tubes of extra felting needles and have them right there. So this is lovely indeed. I like the way the station is worked up. Generally speaking, you would work it with this here and these up above. But because I'm doing a video and the camera's off to the side, I'm gonna work like this on here. Next thing I'm gonna open is gonna be these templates. Now, these templates are really intriguing to me. I've got a pair of scissors here. I am very interested to see how these feel outside of the package and how they work up. Okay, so we have a template of hearts, all right? We have a template. Okay, that's the only thing I'm gonna, see that we need to adjust there. Oh, we've got a template that's got ladybugs and butterflies and dragonflies. That's lovely. And then we have one that's got some basic flower shapes. So these are really quite nice. They're really sturdy. I mean, this is thick industrial felt. I don't know that our needle might hit it, but I don't think, unlike the cookie cutters, I don't think that if you came at this the wrong way, that it would, unless you're really stabbing at it something fierce, I don't think that this would have the tendency to break off the tip of your needle quite as easily. However, having said that, you always know, go into the fiber the same, out of the fiber the same direction you go into the fiber, and always use your elbow. So as long as you are careful, now when I'm, teaching felting and we're using a shape of some sort, I usually position my hand about halfway down the barbed area, and you would want to position your finger that way just to make sure that you could follow the contours of this. So we're going to give that a try here. Let's see, we're going to do flowers because they're right here, and I happen to have some fiber right here. And oh, what color is going to show up lovely on the video? Let's take a look. Okay, this is a pack that I got from Amazon. I think that I have a link on my website, stabthingsintoexistence.com. But if you're wanting to try lots of little bits of color, this is definitely a pack that you'll want to think about, because it gives you these tiny little, I think they're 1/4 ounce packets. They might be smaller than that, but these tiny little packets of all sorts of different colors. They're bagged up separately, and you can, use them to give yourself the opportunity just to play. And you see, it's just a little bit of roving that's been cut and pulled off. I mean, this is a nice little chunk of color if you're, just wanting a base of, lots of little colors to play with. So let's start with this. Now, those of you who have taken classes with me before know that if you're trying to pull off the fiber and it's not coming apart, you got to move your hands back and then it'll come apart. Okay? So we're just pulling off little bits of the staple length, or the length that the fibers are. This is how long the fibers are. Okay, that's how long they were when they came off of the animal, when the animal was sheared. And so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take this, you know, I just had a few little bits of it. And let's see, let's use this one here. Okay, now I'm just kind of shoving it into place here. All right. And I'm just gonna hold it kind of in place, and we're gonna grab a needle, and we're just going to do some stabbing right around the edge. I can use the tip of the needle. I don't want to use this forcefully around, but I can use it to lift up those fibers and to pull them in. And let's see, we've got a corner there that I want to make sure we get around that corner. And then we're going to come back in here and do this petal. And I think that very much the cookie cutters, because they're taller, okay, they give you a little bit more support, I think, for going around the edges, because that's the first thing you want to do when you're using a template of any sort, is you want to go around the edges just to sort of outline your project, you know? And I'm just lifting and moving the fiber just a little bit, and then I'm moving around to the next petal. We'll get to the center, but right now I'm just sort of outlining the project here. And these have got very distinct edges, so you'll want to be very careful as you go around. I kind of like it though. These templates are really kind of cool. It would be this would be something that I would make if I were in the business of designing products to help with needle felting. So I think this one, at least so far, I think this one is a win as far as I'm concerned. We'll find out about the foam base here in just a second. The reason I like closed cell foam, you know, the pink foam that I'm usually stabbing on top of, the reason I like that is because it doesn't eat a lot of the fiber as you're using it to stab things. And sometimes these other styles of foam can really aggressively just sort of hang on to fiber. And so the foams need to be replaced, or they need to be, you know, defibered sometimes. Problem is when you're using a foam base that has a tendency to grab hold of the fiber and hang on to it, is that fiber may end up on your next project, okay? And we don't want the fiber on our next project. We just want it on this project, right? So I've done a quick little cursory around the edges here. I'm gonna lift up the template and I'm gonna pull this out. Oh, that's nice. Let's put the template back down, and we're going to turn this in the wrong side, okay? So we're going to push it right back into the form, and we're going to felt from this side now. Okay, I got to hand it to the company that made this. I like these. These would be particularly good to use for embellishing a piece of clothing or something. And it's because they have such a low profile. I mean, it looks like it's about, I don't know, it's more than 1/8 of an inch, not quite 1/4 of an inch. So that's about how deep these are. So this would be wonderful, you know, if you had a hole on a favorite wool sweater for you to needle felt an embellishment on. Or if you had a sweatshirt that you wanted to, you know, just attitude out and, you know, do some fun little needle felting on it. This would be perfect for that, because it's not going to give you, you know, your average cookie cutter stands anywhere from half an inch to a full inch or deeper. And, you know, you can make some really thick pieces, which are wonderful if you are making something that is going to stand on its own or is going to be held, you know, a pocket heart, or, you know, a flower that you want to display at your desk or something. But this, because it's got such a low profile, this would be perfect for embellishing. And it would fit quite easily over just about anything that you're working on. And now I'm just working that grid so that we're getting the entire thing, entire flower just covered. The thing about needle felting is you want to make sure that you've got the fibers, you know, sort of felted in every direction, every which way that they're going. The more connections you have between the fibers, meaning if you're stabbing this way and then you're stabbing this way and then you're stabbing this way, those connections are happening in all sorts of different ways. It's going to make for a stronger piece of felt, okay? Plus, working this thin, okay, you know, it doesn't have a high profile, so we're not able to make a really thick project, but working this thin makes it possible for us to take, see how that's working there? Take and make just a really tiny little bit. And just that one pass back and forth on both sides was really all we needed. And then it's just a matter of defining the divots between the petals, and that can be done without the template there. We've already got enough of the template to help us out so that we know where those divots are, and we can just get at little added dimension. Now remember, you know, the 3 rules, and I should actually be using the 3rd tool right now, so I think I will. 3rd tool, the finger guards. Now, I've been felting for a lot of years. I've gotten used to stabbing myself periodically. It's not fun, but it does happen. And I have become accustomed to having that ability to feel exactly what's going on. Okay, so these fit pretty cool, all right? And they're a more solid silicone here at the tips than what they are at the fingers, and the fingers have got a little give in them, so they'll fit just about anything. Here's my dilemma. My dilemma is that I've gotten used to feeling that fiber, and I can actually, when I'm working, feel the fiber feel the needle through the fiber before it even comes close to stabbing me. That being said, I know all of you haven't been, you know, stabbing things into existence for over a decade like I have. So these would be something that would be very beneficial for anyone that's a little nervous, or anyone that does like I do and holds things with the needle going toward your fingers. I actually might be able to use these. They feel a little cumbersome to me, but that's because I'm not used to working with things like this. But I kind of like these. There's a nice little protection there. I'm not sure that I would use them entirely all the time if I were working my piece in a very tiny way, because there is something to be said for having your fingers able to feel what's happening, and you don't get that feel when you're using these. You can feel the percussion of the needle, you know, hitting the fiber and going through the fiber, but you can't feel the fiber. And for me, that tactile nature of feeling the fiber as I'm working with it is part of the process. That being said, you know, I would certainly not look down on anybody that wanted to use something like this if they were needle felting. Yeah, these are okay. I'd probably recommend them for people who are new to felting, just to take away one negative aspect that happens when you're a beginning felter, and that is stabbing your fingers. It happens. I might have gotten to the point these days that between the stabbing and the massaging and rubbing of felt when I'm working it, I've almost rubbed all of my fingerprints off. It's kind of funny. I guess it's weird. So yeah, these are okay. These are okay. Again though, if you need to feel for how that's going, I still like having my fingers free, but gives you a very definite advantage if you're nervous about getting yourself with the needle, or if you've got someone that is interested in felting and wants to try it out. I mean, anytime you're getting your fingers close to the needle, it's a little dicey sometimes. It can be, but it doesn't have to be, you know, that dangerous if you're using these little finger guards like this. I can definitely see the benefit of using these. So what do you think? I mean, it's definitely, you know, smaller. These are, oh, I just had a great idea. These would be the perfect size to make felt buttons, because you're able to get the depth of an average button and you can sew through it, and then, oh my gosh, these would be beautiful buttons. Hey, hey, hey. Okay, you want to get this pack if you want to make, you know, butterfly or dragonfly buttons, or if you want to make heart buttons, or you want to make flower buttons, and you want to make them in colors that match. Oh my gosh. Yeah, fabulous idea. Okay, so I think, I mean, I'm happy with this. This is really kind of cool. The base, I'm not seeing, I mean, I can feel where I was felting because there's a little bit of an indentation, but you're going to feel that in any kind of foam. It is nice having this base. I think what I would recommend is putting a non-stick mat or a grippy mat underneath it so that it wouldn't move around. If you remember, my 3 rules of needle felting: always come out of the fiber, same direction you go into the fiber. I can see you going into the fiber and moving it and pulling it out and then bending or breaking off a tip of a needle. So I definitely think that, whoo, finger guard down. I definitely think that I would recommend putting a grippy mat underneath this. I think that would help out tremendously. But these templates are really quite nice. And you see that, you know, it does shrink a little bit as you're felting it, but we've got, you know, our cute little start to our flower button there. These are really quite nice. I like them. I like them a lot. The finger guards, I could take or leave them. Okay, these are yeah, I can see somebody using these. But I'm beyond, I think, the point where these would be comfortable for me. Unless, I'm going to pull this off, unless I had to do some sideways work like this, where I need to come in, and there are times when you need to do this, and I can see these being beneficial for working a very thin piece and working it on its side. I can see them, you know, being beneficial for that. And beneficial for anyone that's just starting to needle felt. I can think of a number of folks that would probably appreciate these. I may have to go and buy some just to have available for when I do classes. And I've got classes coming up this month, this next month. January 11th, I'll be in Hutchinson at the Wool Market and DIY School. January 20th, I will be here in Topeka at Leaping Llama's Artisan Shop. And January 25th, I will be in Wamego at Winter Wool Fest. And I'll be teaching classes in all 3 places. For Leaping Llama's Artisan Shop and for the Wool Market and DIY School, you do want to go to their websites, and you can get to those from my page or just by searching on Facebook. You have to sign up for those classes directly with them. They are keeping track of those. For Winter Wool Fest on the 25th, excuse me, get there early. Classes are first come, first serve, and you do have to sign up. I usually have about 20 as the cap for that class, but I need you to get there early so that you can make sure that you're able to be in the class. Again, contact Leaping Llamas and contact the Wool Market directly to sign up for those classes. And then I hope to see you at either the Wool Market or at Leaping Llamas. or at Winter Wool Fest. And I hope that you have gotten a little information as I've gone through this little product review. Again, I love the base. The base is fabulous. Just needs a tiny little modification so that it doesn't wiggle around. When you're using the foam without the plastic base, see, it doesn't move around quite as much. So it's just the plastic that is causing that to wiggle around. I think there are a couple of things you could do to stabilize that, either by using a grip mat underneath it, or by perhaps running a bead of silicone or a bead of hot glue under the edge, along the edge and along the base. I think that might help grip it as well. So this is a qualified, yeah, I think this is a good piece of equipment that would make your needle felting go easier. The templates, I mean, you're getting 3 different templates for $5, $6, $7. That's a deal. I mean, and buttons would be perfect for this. These are going to be great for embellishing any clothing. They're going to be great for making buttons. Again, this is the cookie cutter technique, only I think maybe, you know, a little bit easier to use than the cookie cutters. And then the finger grips, these are, if you need them, get them. You know, if you're going to be working close, if your fingers are going to be close to the needle and working, I'd say absolutely go ahead and grab a set of these. It's 3 of them for $3. I mean, it's not really a bad deal at all. And like I said, I got all 3 pieces, the base workstation, I got the templates, and I got the finger pieces, I think for $17 plus tax. So not a bad deal at all. So I'd highly recommend that you take a look. These are definitely tools that are worthwhile. Are they a requirement? No. Are they an easy add-on to, you know, things that you may already have? Absolutely. Are they something that, you know, you might enjoy using to help keep you a little bit more focused on, you know, certain things? Sure. But again, this is an unsolicited, unpaid review. If you like them, go get them. If you don't, that's okay too. I hope to be with you this next week. I go to pick up my mom tomorrow in Kansas City, and she'll be with me for a month, and she will be traveling with me to some of the classes that I have going on. For others, she'll probably just hang out here at the house and watch her Hallmark movies. So until next time, go stab something into existence, and I'll see you later. Bye.